Well, we'll be speaking to Jonah Hull, who's now in Malta in just a moment. But first, let's speak to Baroness Valerie Amos. She's the United Nations humanitarian chief and is in Benghazi, the opposition stronghold in Libya right now. Baroness, thank you very much for your time. Thanks for speaking to Al Jazeera. As we saw there in our report, a very dire and desperate situation in Misurata. What is the United Nations doing to help these people?
Well, we've managed to get some food in. The International Organization for Migration is evacuating people out of Misurata. We've got some medical supplies in, and of course there are partners, NGO partners, who have also been assisting. But we have no real sense of what the total needs are. Yeah. I feel that we need to get in there to be able to see what is going on, and it is one of the things I was talking to the Libyan government about, because I'd like to be able to get a team in so we can have an independent assessment of what is happening. Right. People are clearly in dire need of help.
And the fighting is still ongoing there, very fierce fighting. Now, you say you've been talking to the Libyan government. What sort of assurances have they been giving you to perhaps assist in addressing this humanitarian situation? Are they going to perhaps observe a ceasefire?
I called for a cessation of hostilities so that people could move to a situation of safety. The security situation is so volatile and uncertain. It's having a massive impact on people, on their children. We have migrant workers who are desperate to leave, but that call has not been heard by the government of Libya. What they did say was that they would help a team to go in to assess what's going on, but we need more than that.
And it's not just Brega, is it, Ms. Amos? It's also other places. It's not just Misurata, I should say. It's also Brega and other places who've seen fierce fighting where people are now fleeing.
Of course, it's not just Misurata, and we need to remember that. We need a cessation of hostilities in all the towns and cities where there is conflict going on and where people are extremely vulnerable.
Right. We've also heard reports, Ms. Amos, that Gaddafi forces have been using human shields and that they've been using cluster munitions. Did you address this at all when you spoke to Libyan government officials yesterday in Tripoli?
I raised it, and there was an immediate denial. I raised the fact that there had been these reports of the use of cluster munitions. We all know how dangerous they are. They are banned. Children get injured by them because they see them as toys. I raised this, and it was denied.
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Valerie Amos, the UN humanitarian chief, joining us there live from Benghazi. Thank you very much for your time. Let's speak now to Al Jazeera's Jonah Hull, who was just in Misurata just 24 hours ago. Jonah, will the people there take any comfort from what Baroness Amos just had to say?
Frankly, I suspect not. Anybody listening in Misurata to those words will be fairly depressed by them. They hope and they think that there will be help coming, but that doesn't sound very positive from the UN's point of view. And of course, one has to understand why there isn't a safe passage into Misurata. This is a town, a port town that is besieged by land to the east, to the west and to the south. The only access in is from the north, from the sea, and the seaport itself is frequently under fire. So the only way to get material supplies into Misurata would be by boat. Some are coming, as Baroness Amos has pointed out. IOM boats have been in and out of that port, evacuating migrant workers and the most seriously injured, and bringing in supplies with them. Also boats chartered by Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, and the Qatari government. But this is very limited passage. This is very limited amounts of supplies. Certainly in the hospital, they do not report incoming medical supplies on a regular basis, and they are running short of critical drugs, critical care, machinery, equipment that they need to deal with very specialist injuries. And of course, amongst the civilian population that has had to shift from their homes into places of safety like schools and mosques, they have no food, they have no fresh water supply, they have no electricity, they queue for hours for bread, They are getting hungry, they are getting desperate. And there's one other point, of course, that the UN can't even begin to address, and that is the fate of civilians on the other side of the front line. This is a city that is divided by a jagged front line that cuts through neighborhoods, civilian suburbs and so on. Nobody knows what's happening on the other side among the civilians sitting in Gaddafi-controlled territory. The UN certainly can't help that.
An increasingly desperate situation. Jonah Hull in Malta, thank you very much indeed for joining us.